Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you all yet again another Sons of Anarchy episode review right here on Otaku Assemble. Weekly, as always, I'm here to bring you the latest in this week's Sons of Anarchy episode review. Now, before I jump into this week's episode review, I want to go ahead and clarify what happened with last week's episode review. For some reason, my videos were not being published to my subscribers. Apparently, there's something going on YouTube right now. And of course, there's always some type of problem or issue, technical difficulty, malfunction going on YouTube. It happens 24/7. But my channel finally got hit with it, and so my videos weren't being published to my subscribers. My channel still hasn't been fixed because I can't see my channel background or my channel banner on my laptop. And then for a couple of days, my analytics was screwed up. So I want to thank those of you who bared with me. And I want to thank those of you who, inquired, checked up, see what was going on. But like I said, YouTube was fucking up. There was nothing I could do about it. And for those of you all who still want to see last week's episode review, it's up now. I uploaded it earlier. I re-uploaded it for the third time. Re-uploaded it earlier today. It's working. Check it out. It's on my channel. Boom. Okay, and with that being said, now let's jump into this week's episode. This is Season 5, Episode 5, entitled Orca Shrugged. So, my thoughts on this week's episode. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and I want to make this statement before I jump into the details of this week's episode. I really enjoyed this week's episode because this was the first episode in a long time that came across as fun. You see what I'm saying? Like, of course the show produces good episodes and whatnot, and you have the action-oriented ones, you have the drama-oriented ones, you have the suspense-oriented ones. But this was the first one in a while that was genuinely fun. Like, genuinely a treat to sit down and watch. And I gotta say, this episode was one of the, funnest and funniest, but also one of the weirdest fucking hours of television I've watched in years. What the fuck? Okay, so jumping into this episode, first and foremost, I enjoyed Jack's narration at the beginning of the episode that opened up the episode. His thoughts on hate and what it can do to a person if they're consumed by it, and how Opie's death is affecting him. I really like that. Thought it was really well done. And for a moment, I wasn't sure how it was going to apply to this week's episode, but it is in a matter of which it's reiterated later on in his conversation with Gemma in the club parking lot. So they did manage to, bring it back and whatnot. Oh, and then of course his narration at the end kind of brings it back also. Okay, so second thought. Of course, I've talked about the break-ins and Charming, and of course, the new additions to the club, and of course my theory on Clay's involvement. And for right now, my theory stands. Still need more information about that, but I'll come back to the break-ins in a minute. Okay. Now, I absolutely love the Bare-Knuckle Brawl between Jax and the member of the IRA. Liked it. Very fun. Very kick-ass to kind of, start off the episode with that. Well, I mean, it wasn't the opening scene, but early in the episode we got that. That was pretty kick-ass. I enjoyed that. I'm curious though. I really want to know what's going to happen, because of course we know the whole IRA deal. The only reason why that's still around is because Clay's still in the club. But now since Jax is the president and whatnot, and we already saw the exchange, you know, between him and Homeboy. So I'm curious to see how what's going to happen with that relationship, because we do get the sense that Homeboy doesn't like Jax. That's pretty clear. But is it just this sort of, you know, oh, now I got to deal with the prince type bit, or is there legitimately some animosity between them? And I mean, hell, both sides have a reason to hold animosity towards the other. But I'm curious to see how that develops, if it will any. You know, who knows? It might stay like this for the rest of the series. But I want to know where that's gonna go. Now we get to the blackmailing scene. Wow. What the fuck was that? Oh man. I mean, it was a great scene, you know, well written, hilarious as all hell. And I'll be the first to admit, I was fooled. I didn't know at first glance. I didn't know that was a dude. Not only was that a dude, but correct me if I'm wrong, but that's your boy from Justified, the second lead. That's him. I mean, it looked like him. I think that is him. But man, at first glance, I thought that was a chick. Granted, though, shame on me, because at first glance, I wasn't staring at the face. I really wasn't. That's my fault. I blame myself. I take shame for that, because I wasn't staring at his face. But yeah, I had to look twice, because at first I was like, damn. And then I was like, wait a minute. Damn. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I'm still not right about that. It was crazy. But no. But that scene was freaking hilarious, especially when Homeboy's stepson showed up. Lord have mercy, Jesus, that line. Oh, I'm not gonna repeat the line because it was vulgar, but god damn it, man. And Tig, oh man, and then the way it closed out with Tig and bit on the ass, like, what the fuck? Seriously, man, the what the fuck meter was up and running in this week's episode, man. It was one thing after another. Jesus. All right, so okay, now I want to go. Now I want to oh. Before I get back to the break-ins, though, the whole Nero Gemma thing, so far is playing out like I thought it would, but we're not done yet. That whole thing isn't over with yet. But so far it's playing out like I figured it would. Now to the break-ins. First and foremost, I think I find it unfortunate that the break-in into into Sheriff Roosevelt's home, and the attack on his wife, that is what is going to bring Eli into the fold and into that conflict, because before he was just doing his job, he was just being a sheriff. Now I'm almost positive Eli is going to be much more vigilant, and he's going to be much more adamant about honestly, because now it's not even, to this point, it's not even Eli doing his job. Now it's personal. Not now Eli, we're talking about him going, for retribution. So, like I said, I think it's unfortunate that it took that event to bring Eli into the fold like that. However, I question whether or not he would have done so if it hadn't been for that. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is, classic case of character motivation and how a character gets involved with the conflict, how it's written. Like I said, I think it's unfortunate that it happened, but at the same time, I see the necessity of that having to happen, because now Eli's motivation is going to be much more clearer, and now it makes more sense that why he would get involved, and also the level of his involvement. It's personal for him now, so that makes sense. And I think it needed to happen, because I don't see how it would have happened any other way. And there was, what did I want to close out on? Or maybe that's what I wanted to close. Oh, the mayor. I like that Jax is, reaching out and, trying to establish some type of alliance with the mayor. Not in the same sense how how Clay and Oswald, how their little partnership was. Not in the same sense. Actually, to be fair, I think Jax's partnership with Mayor Hal is actually better, because it seems more mutual. Whereas with Clay and Oswald, it seems like it was always based off of intimidation. Like, Oswald would try and corner Clay into doing what he wants him to do. Clay would try to corner Oswald into doing what he wanted him to do. You see what I'm saying? Whereas with Jax and Mayor Hal, it is more mutual. Jax didn't try to intimidate him into leasing that property. He offered him something. He did him a favor. You see what I'm saying? In exchange of favors, rather, and it wasn't like the favor was done and then it's like, oh, well, you owe me one. It's like, hey, man, you take care of this for me, I'll take care of this for you. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's a lot more mutual. And that's good, because that is how you form alliances. Now, granted, there's a theory, the whole thing, is it better to be feared than respected, or that type of shit. But no, I think alliances that are formed based off of mutual gain by both sides, and based off of a mutual understanding of what each one wants out of the partnership, is a lot more stronger, because there is no need to backstab, there is no need to lie, to connive, nothing. Both of you know what you're about. It's all on the table. It's just a matter of using that avenue for whatever you need to accomplish. That makes a lot more sense. And also, when you take in consideration just Jax's personality, it makes sense that that's what Jax would do. So I thought that was really cool. That is my timer. And those are my thoughts on this week's episode. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about. No. That'll about do it. So I want to thank you all for joining me again this week. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. And don't forget, last week's episode review, episode 4 review, it's up now. Go to my channel, check it out. Go to my channel, check it out. Okay, so that being said, what's coming up later this week? I got a surprise for you motherfuckers. Yeah, tomorrow, the DC CW television series Arrow is premiering. Guess who's going to review the pilot? This motherfucker right here. And if the pilot is up to snuff, or hell, even if it's not up to snuff, I might review it weekly. I mean, even if the show doesn't live up to expectations, it's going to be interesting to see how the CW handles another DC superhero series. And it's not as long as like Smallville, it's not a 2-season show. You see what I'm saying? It's only 13 episodes. And you know what? I think it'll be pretty fucking fun to have, another series to review, a fresh one, one that isn't, doesn't already have seasons under his belt, fresh and whatnot, get to, see it with fresh eyes, first time experience, all that jazz. So tomorrow night, keep an eye out for that, my review of the Arrow pilot. Friday, the discussion of the week's coming back, and then I'll wrap things up this Sunday with my comic book Hollywood review of Spider-Man 2. And with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and until next time, peace.